Shabbat Shalom. Last week, I was reading an article and I made the mistake of looking at all the comments afterwards and got caught in that whole cycle. And part of what's been so difficult about this situation that's been ongoing since October 7th is that so many of us feel impassioned from wherever we are to tell our side of this story, to explain to friends and neighbors why their silence can be hurtful, why we are experiencing being treated differently, somehow different rules apply to us, and just trying to refute some of the more extreme comments that we've heard about Israel being a white supremacist or a colonial enterprise. At the same time, seeing that through all of it, it's not so easy to affect another person's opinion. And just the limitations of the fact that we are a small people, we're 15, 16 million people worldwide, and so our voices are limited compared to innumerable loud voices and rhetoric on the other side. And yes, we have friends in unlikely places, and as we've all experienced over the past weeks, people who see and understand. But many are also reading our posts and hearing our very words, but remain unmoved. There's a famous Ethiopian Israeli blogger who said something like, "I've told my story, I've explained, I've pleaded, and if you still don't get it, well," then he said something very impolite. And so it makes us feel alone. It's not easy to change another person. As we see in our Parsha, with Jacob returning from his uncle's home and land, going back to the land of Canaan with his big family, his many children, his servants, his flocks. And it's been 21 years since he left, because he was fleeing from his brother Esau, who was trying to kill him for stealing the inheritance and the blessing of their father. And now he's finally heading home, the head of the large family, but he doesn't know what does Esau want to do at this moment. And so he sends messengers to find out what are Esau's intentions. And the messengers return with the frightening news, your brother is coming this way with 400 armed men. And so Jacob panics. How can he do to change his older brother? And so he goes through a whole ruse that he puts together in devices where he will send a whole list and set of gifts to him, and each time his servants will come and be submissive to Esau and offer gifts and ever more camels and all types of offerings. He thinks maybe this will soften Esau's heart, but then he realizes, well, it might not work either. I don't know what's in my brother's mind. So he comes up with a plan, a very difficult plan, to separate his family into two, so that at least one half of them will survive any attack by his brother. So Esau was trying to kill him last time he saw him. He doesn't know, has Esau forgiven him? What's in his brother's mind? And so he wrestles and sends his family across the stream, one of the streams connected to the Jordan River. And then they cross the river, and then suddenly he's attacked by an angel, by a mysterious man, the Torah says. And he wrestles. This is the story of Jacob wrestling with the angel. And all night long he wrestles. He wrestles with this divine being, and we can imagine what he's going through. He also wrestles with himself. And those 21 long years of being away, and all those memories of his brother and of their stressed relationship together, his fears, his worries, his limitations, his sadness at it all. And also the Torah says he was actually even wrestling with Esau's very soul at that moment. So through the night he wrestles, but then in the morning the sun rises and the angel says, "Let me go." Jacob says, "Only if you tell me your name." And the angel says, I can't tell you my name. So Jacob says, bless me. So the angel blesses Jacob, and Jacob becomes Israel, a new person. And then this morning, Israel makes an offering, and he goes to finally confront his brother Esau. When he approaches Esau and he sees them approaching themselves, he puts his plan into action, since half his family one way, the other way. And he approaches and he bows down 7 times to Esau as he comes closer and closer. And the word in the Hebrew that's used to describe his approaching is the same word that's used when Judah approaches Joseph later on in the Torah, with that courage and boldness and humility that changes Joseph, and he reveals himself that here he is, Egyptian Lord, truly their long-lost brother, Joseph. And also the same verb that's used when Abraham confronts God to plea for the evil cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. He pleads, and Esau comes forward, and instead of attacking him, he embraces him. And they weep and they reconcile, one of the beautiful moments. And Esau looks in wonder at Jacob's family and says, wow, you've got this amazing family, and it's just a happy and good ending, just lovely. So, right, Jacob could not change Esau. Who can change another human being? People in general, we are who we are. And as much as you want to turn everybody else into a copy of yourself, it usually doesn't work very well. And we all walk in these very deeply set paths. According to Kabbalah, they're even set over lifetimes, or we could say over decades. And true deep transformation, to change a person, is very exceedingly rare. But we all can try and change ourselves. And Jacob, in his wrestling with his aloneness, with the intractable, impossible situation he found himself in, struggling with God, somehow he managed to transcend and emerge a truly new person, a new name. And so Esau had grown up with Yaakov. What does Yaakov actually mean? Yaakov means heel, because Jacob came out grabbing his brother's heel, a sign of what was to come. But it wasn't Jacob that Esau saw approaching him, it was Yisrael. As the Hasidim teach, you take the letters in Yisrael, you rearrange them, it becomes Li Rosh, the head. He went from being the heel to being the head of a family, the head of something much greater. So he wasn't anymore Jacob, the jealous younger brother. And somehow seeing him, Jacob's just changed. Esau changed his plans and the whole mindset. And in Kabbalah, Jacob and the tree of life, and all the Sefirot that are part of the Kabbalistic understanding of the cosmos, Jacob is Tiferet. Tiferet is the central Sefirah in the tree of life that brings harmony to all. Tiferet means beauty or splendor. And so somehow Jacob's beauty in that moment, the love, his harmony within, awakens something in Esau, Esau's own sense of love for his brother, Esau's own compassion, and had him have a different reaction. Whenever I see what is happening in Israel itself since October 7th, and in this last week, this outpouring of love for these hostages, it's Doniel Hartman last week had a podcast from the Hartman Institute in Jerusalem where he said he's never seen Israel like this. The whole country is just absolutely obsessed with the hostages. And not like a community praying for hostages, but really like a family. He says, coming together, really Israel is going through a transformation. And the Jewish people are going through a transformation and a realignment. And I've heard people talk about their love of being Jewish and of being Israel in a way that they'd never experienced before. And they're realizing what an important part of their identity it is in so many moving ways. And so we cannot easily change another person. We can change ourselves. And I have faith that we will emerge from all of this with what it takes, the qualities to confront the situation, and please God, be able to change the dynamic and bring peace to our region. We will understand much more deeply how precious our Jewish homeland is to us, and we'll be even more set on being to the world the people of Jacob, a people of love and beauty and harmony. And not all will see it, but some will. We are light and we are truth and goodness and more ourselves than we've ever been before. Shabbat Shalom.